Hi, it's Robbie from Southern California. What I want to show you is this. These are watermelon cuttings. Now these have not rooted. It looks like they're rooting, but they're really not. No, that's actually the tendril that was there. And this one, they're kind of dying back. I don't know why. See the tendrils on there? They're just not doing that good. The reason I say, well, what are they doing? I was trying to see if you can really root them. So the ones in the house did not do anything. But I want to take you outside and show you what actually did do something, to my surprise. So now we're in our rainbow garden. I love my rainbow gardens. The color just makes you smile. These are the two totes. I went with a light color that I use as a mini greenhouse, and it works great to start seeds. This way the seeds are outside. They're used to being outside. Easy to move around. Let's see what's going on. Now in here, I've got, these are zucchini. These are bush baby zucchini. I've got 3 of them growing there. And that is from my own zucchini I grew that I bought the plant. I had a zucchini. I let it get big enough so I would have seeds. And my goodness, all I had to do was take the seed right out, plant it, and it grew. Now this is the watermelon plant from the ones that I'm growing here. And I did the cuttings because I only want my watermelon plants to grow 1 watermelon per plant. But that's 3 plants in 1 tote. So that's 3 watermelons. Instead of growing 1 watermelon plant and forcing it to grow 2 or 3 watermelon, I did it the opposite. But look at this. These are the cuttings that I did just a few days ago when I did the trimming. And look how beautiful those roots are. There's one. Let's see. Here's another one. Look at the roots. Can you see the roots there? So I've got that one, and let's see, this one is just starting. Isn't that cool? Right there, just starting. And look at this one I did. There's 2. Now I'm gonna leave this one like this. This one might be, well, might get a lot of growth on it because it's 1 plant with 2 sets of roots growing in it. Now why the ones outside rooted and the ones I brought in the house did not, I can't answer that. I don't know. Maybe the house is too warm, too cold, too humid, too dry. I don't know. Something odd. But the 4 cuttings I did there started fairly quick, and then I brought a couple in to see, and they didn't. So let's sit down, let's talk about that for a minute, but I wanted to share this with you because it was a surprise to me. I have taken watermelon and pushed it under the soil as the watermelons are growing, and I have yet to see 1 root. So it wasn't wet enough, there was something about it, but taking it off the plant, these rooted. But let's see and talk about if you think it's worth doing it this way. And then you'll decide how you want to do it. So I wanted to share that with you because it is interesting that these have rooted. It's amazing how many roots that they've got. And why the ones in the house didn't root, I'm not sure. Temperature wasn't right? Here's the thing with plants. Is this going to be able to grow watermelons? We're in August right now. Watermelon season, well, it's going to end pretty soon. A watermelon takes, I've had the fastest one, take up to 30 days, but normally there are 60 days to grow a full-size watermelon. So my thought is, if I would do this early on, take the nicest plant I've got, and when it starts to develop watermelons next time, pull off the nicest stems, the thickest stems that you can find, and then try to root those, because I trimmed my watermelons back there behind me down really hard because I didn't want it to try to grow anymore. I figured 1 was enough, 3 plants in 1 tote, trying to make sure I kept enough food to it, which is, the pitcher or, with all the kitchen scraps and leaves from the garden in there. Because the thing is, sometimes rooting a plant, like let's say a tomato plant, it doesn't mean that when you clone something, it's going to grow better or faster than a seed, because believe you me, seeds are just ready and they just want to grow. And when you're cloning something and doing a cutting, it has to develop a root system. It's got to send the message up here to start growing. It doesn't mean it's going to grow quicker. It's like when you go to the nursery and you buy a 1-gallon tree, and then you buy a 5-gallon tree, the same type. Do you know a lot of times the 1-gallon grows much, much better and faster than the 5-gallon? You would think it's bigger, it's going to grow faster. Not necessarily. That large tree has to send the roots down. A lot of times what you're thinking is what's on the top is what's on the bottom. A lot of times it is that way, and it can take time to get to the right size, top and bottom, to take off and grow fruit. So I think really this may be too late, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and plant these. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll be lucky and get a watermelon because it is only August. We're in the middle of August, and then it's going to go into September. If it can be ready by October, if it starts to fruit right away. Now, if it tries to grow a vine, and I have heard it can take sometimes 6-7 weeks to get a vine going, then it won't have enough time. Because then you're looking at maybe not even until the end of September into October. And I don't know, it will depend on the weather, if it can go into, let's say, November or December, because it still needs a lot of sunlight. Though I will put this in a very sunny spot because I think it's really worth it. Well, it's worth it to try. I've got a tote down there in my chair garden that's got one watermelon growing from seed. We're already getting close to when we should be done trying to start watermelon, but I'm starting it anyways. The ones that I planted about a month and a half ago are just doing great. Oh, everybody's got fruit on it. So we'll see what happens. But can you root them? You can. And why the ones that I had in the house didn't root, I don't know. But these did root. The ones outside, set up in my little tote greenhouse, those were the only ones that sent out all this massive roots. So it's good to know, because if you're early next season and you're trimming back your plants, you only want your watermelon to grow 1 or 2, let's say, watermelon on it. So you have good, big, strong, healthy, sweet watermelon. If the stalks look really good, go ahead and try it. What do you have to lose? If they don't even look that good and you've got space, go ahead and see what happens. So we'll see. I'll let you know in the next few weeks if they made it. I mean, they want to grow, but will they grow a vine to grow a watermelon? I only need 1. I'd be happy with 1. With that, have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. This is cool because I tried before and you didn't root, but you rooted outside. Oh, maybe Mother Nature just wanted it outside. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant this one here. Just going to put those roots under there and the stem too. Another way of really doing that, trying to keep the leaves up, because the leaves are what's going to feed the plant. And we'll push it in like this, and we'll make sure there's an indentation here, a well, so we can keep the roots watered. It's going to be next to this one. And the same thing here. I'm going to push this one this way. And now we'll just cover this and keep an indentation here. So when we water it, we have a well of water here and a well of water here. And here I'm going to put a pitcher, and I'll be composting in there. This is a bean. It's a purple bean. And this is a watermelon coming up from seed. And we'll see what happens with these. But we want to make sure this is really kept wet. So we'll have to really water this really good and see if it'll even take. And get this thing covered in tulle very quickly.